Hey, good evening, man. Good evening again, man. It's so good to be back. Another week, another episode in a new year, a new day. So I'm excited again, once again, to be back in the building. Be back in the building. So once again, I'm excited for another week. So we back on. Get let a few people get in here before we get started on this week's show. So as usual, let's make sure that you share this, um, share this on your page, share this with somebody, share it with a group of people. But it's going down again. It's going down again tonight. So I'm excited again about this. I'm excited about the conversation, the topic that we're going to speak on tonight, and I'm just excited about the things God has been doing, not only in my life, but the things that God has been setting up for a lot of people. So hey, feel free to share this. Feel free to let everybody know that you're in the building, and once again, invite some people in. I'm a, Also too, for those that are here, make sure you put in the comments. Let me know where you tuning in from. And I know we got our first person, Miss Geraldine Pastor. Hey, how you doing, Miss Pastor? Good to see you. Thank you. I know you say you're present for class, so thank you for your continued support. Hey, share this thing, get people in the building, because I promise you, you do not want to miss the conversation tonight. Gonna have very candid conversations on some things. So just want to share this a little bit. Share this on my page, and we're gonna get started with this conversation. We're gonna get started with this conversation. Hey, I want to thank you guys for continued support. I mean, we're going on episode 24, for we've been doing this for a few months now. So I'm very thankful for those that support and those that participate. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And as I usually do, I want to, before we get started with the pleasantries of this great show that we got tonight, I'd like to send a shout out to just want to highlight some people that I know that own their own business. And I want to highlight, showing support to small business owners. But tonight, I want to give a shout out to my classmate, class of '98, Greensboro East High School, Ruby Woods. You can check her out. I got her flyer right here. It's Ruby Scents and Stuff. You can check her out. She specializes in fragrance oil, tea light candles, perfume oils, and lingerie. Her contact number, you see, I got it in the it's in the flyer. It's 334-507-6400. I said it again. It's 334-507-6400. You can also look her up on her page. She has a Facebook page, Ruby Scents and Stuff. So hey, make sure you check her out. Please go ahead and check her out. She got some. I was on there the other day, and she got some candles and some very nice candles, very nice gift ideas, especially coming up for Valentine's Day. So hey, go ahead on and check her out. Check my classmate out, class of '98 in the building. Yes, we're in the building. So again, let everybody know. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Go ahead and throw it in the comments. We got Marcus Garner. He's tuning in from Fredericksburg, VA, all the way from VA. So hey, we got people tuning in all around. But hey, tonight, as you drop them in, we'll put it in. Make sure you share this. But we're going to go ahead on and jump right into this thing. One of the things that I'm so excited about is with this topic tonight is something that it's going to be a very candid conversation, and a very candid conversation about, the pressures and challenges of dealing with the reality of you. The pressures and challenges of dealing with the reality of you. And I had the thought of talking about this topic, speaking from this topic, from the point that, a lot of times there's a lot of pressure that a lot of people are under. A lot of pressure, a lot of people are under, a lot of things that a lot of people have to deal with, from dealing with the reality of yourself. I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm not talking about, it's so easy to find excuses or point blame to other people. What I'm speaking on is the pressure and challenges of dealing with the reality of you. Because guess what? if you find out yourself, we're the hardest people to deal with. We are the hardest people to deal with. We lie to ourselves the most, and we look for all excuses or all things to validate why we are not doing the things what we're supposed to do over the things we don't want to do. And I do want to speak on that a little bit. Again, let me know. Jump in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. We got Miss Ruby Woods, the one I just shout out with Ruby Sense and things and stuff. She said she's tuning in from Greensboro, Alabama. But hey, there's a lot of there's a lot of pressure and challenges for dealing with the reality of you. And I want to talk from the pressure, from the pressure standpoint is, you know, think about it. If we really think about it, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to meet perceived expectations of others. If we to think about it, that's what we do. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to try to meet other people perceived expectations of other people. We got Chandrilla Banks, another of my 9-8 family, tuning in from Greensboro, Alabama. And Joshua Licata, man, hey, how you doing, my brother? We served together in Germany. He said, owning up to your part. Hey, that is one difficult thing for a lot of us to do. And the reason why it's difficult, because we lie to ourselves more than anything. If we really think about it. It's, if I ask you right now to tell me something good about yourself, it's so easy to highlight the things that we may be good at, the things that we may be comfortable with, the things that we may seem as look at as a strength. But if I ask you to tell me, list the things or the plans that you have to deal with the stuff you know you need to improve on, how much time and effort or what level of prioritization that we put into bettering ourselves or dealing with our toxic behaviors, dealing with the things that are not good, dealing with those areas in our lives where we really need to improve on, and we just run from. And Max Licata said, and believe the lie through and through. So one of the things about believing the lie is the fact that we know it's a lie, but we tell ourselves that it's over and over because we want to feel as if it makes us. We try to convince ourselves to believe that lie so that we won't have to put in because we really don't want to do the work that we need to do to correct ourselves. So we look for all things in the sense to enable that type of behavior. And I want to speak on something very deep tonight to really get towards that. Marcus said we definitely lie to ourselves a lot. This is so true. That's a very true statement, and I want to hit on that because a lot of times there's that pressure that we deal with. We lie to ourselves because we want to meet other people's perceived expectation of us. You know, a lot of times people get upset and they're angry and they're dealing with a lot of different things because they feel like if they're at a certain age, they should have accomplished this thing. I should have bought a house by this age. I should have gotten married by this age. I should have had children by this age. I should have done this. Shoulda. And all these shouldas are based off what? Are based off who timeline? Is it your timeline? If it's what you think other people feel like that, oh, you should be, or if you're not this by this age, then that, you know, and we put all this unnecessary pressure on ourselves for things that are really baseless. It's baseless. It has no merit at all. It is baseless. And we put that pressure on ourselves because we try to meet other people's expectations. And the challenges that we have with dealing with the reality of you is that we ignore who we really are because we don't want to put the work in to make the changes. That's a fact. You know, I made there's been like a lot of us, we can look at it and look at examples and just use some personal examples. You know, we or things that are personal in nature. Some of us aren't taught how to manage money, but we just make money, but we don't manage money, and we find ourselves making dumb decisions over and over and over again, all because we're too prideful to say, hey, raise our hand, hey, I need help, or do the necessary things, or even want to change the behavior to get what we need, what we truly said we wanted to get in the first place. And that is something that is so not only dangerous, but it's a toxic mentality. And a lot of times, man, we deal with things over and over and over and over again, because we don't want to put the time or the work in or the effort to make those changes. I can complain all the time about my marriage. I can complain all the time about my job. I can complain all the time about this, that, and the third. But if I'm not willing to put forth the work to facilitate that change, then I am really don't have the courage to face or deal with the reality of me. And watch this. The easiest thing to do when we dealing with this is it is so easy to point blame at other people and to justify why you are fearful, but you try to use it as other people as the blame. You want to put the blame on other people, but in reality, we just fearful to not do what we need to do to make the changes that we need to make to dealing with making the changes of the reality of who we are. A lot of us, we know the stuff that we got. I mean, if we just lay it out, if we just be honest with each other, and I ain't talking about this ain't got nothing to do with no title. This ain't got nothing to do with no perceived notions. This is talking about dealing with you, the person you know that you are, the things you know that you need to change. Even if you try to justify like, well, I ain't got to do this because such and such do this to me. No, you know you're wrong. You know you're wrong. But you just don't want to change, and you try to blame other people as justification. But what it really is, you're just too fearful or too prideful to make the changes needed so that your life can get better, so that your situation can get better. That's just what it is. And it's sad because a lot of us live our lives like that. And eventually what ends up happening is negatively impact those around us, especially those that are closest to us. So one of the things that is something that we really need to look in the mirror. We really need to not only look in the mirror, but we really need to say, you know what? What are those things that I really need to change? I'm talking about those toxic behaviors, and all of us have them. There's nobody that don't have no areas in their lives that they can't improve on or need to improve on. But how do I overcome the challenges of dealing with me? How do I overcome getting over that pride? How do I overcome getting over that pride? How do I overcome the fear of having to face myself? Having to face myself. Who do you see when you look in the mirror? A lot of times this whole thing about social media, you can take a picture, especially on Instagram, Facebook, you can take a picture on your camera. You can go in there, you can use filters, you can hide this, you can do this, you can change the lighting, you can do all of these things. You can put on makeup, you can put on a mask, you can do all of these things. But at the end of the day, how do you deal with yourself? How do you deal with yourself? And that's something that we need to have a conversation with, because we find ourselves stuck in places that we find ourselves stuck in places for years and for season after season after season, all because we don't want to deal with that challenge of facing the reality of yourself. Facing the reality of yourself. I can look at myself and from personal experience and realize, like, I have wasted years of my life focusing on areas where I'm so strong in, so that in an attempt that I don't have to deal with those areas that I'm weak in, in attempt to overcompensate those areas that I'm weak in. That is so true. Ruby said, what's within us, what's within is going to eventually come to the surface. And I 100% agree. Ruby, the problem is this. It's already at the surface for many of us. It's already at the surface for many of us, and people around us see it. We just don't want to deal with it, and we expect everybody else around us to adjust to it and accept it. No matter how toxic it is, we just want everybody around us to adjust to it and accept it. We want everybody around us to compromise because we don't want to deal with it, and we don't want them to bring it up to make us have to deal with it. So we begin to be toxic in our behaviors towards those around us, all because they see what we don't want to see, but we see it. What they, I'm sorry, I'm gonna rephrase that. They see what we don't want to recognize and acknowledge. But just like you said, what's in you, what's within is going to eventually come to the surface. That is something that we all deal with. People deal with that all the time, but we just don't want to do it. And I'm talking about this stuff. And the reason why am I talking about this? For the last few weeks, I've been talking about healing. I've been talking about forgiveness. I've been talking about a lot of different things on a personal level. And I really feel like, you know, that conversation has been had because it's time for us to really start dealing with ourselves. You know, to remind me what the Bible said multiple times when Jesus said in the ministry of Jesus in the New Testament, Jesus was saying, you know, will thou be made whole? Will you be made whole? That was a question that asked plenty of times. And what came to my mind about that was Jesus had the ability to heal them without them asking. But what he asked them was, and it showed me that you can be healed from an ailment, but not be made whole. And being made whole is a personal choice. And a lot of us walk around here with the lacking courage to deal with the reality of ourselves because we don't want to be made whole, because we are fearful that we're fearful to deal with the reality of that pain, the reality of whatever it is that we don't want to face to become better. And that's something that I know that for without a shadow of a doubt, that has negatively impacted a lot of our lives, even with our relationship with our children, with our relationship with our siblings, with our relationship with our spouses, with our relationship with the people that we work with, all because we refuse to deal with the stuff that's on the inside that manifests itself on the surface. But we try to paint a picture as if it's not there, but everybody else can clearly see it. Everybody else can clearly see it. So we have to be careful in how we deal with that. That's why I say that the pressure and the challenges of dealing with the reality of you, the reality of you. You know, some of the things, and this is a dangerous thing to be at, dangerous place to be at in our lives when we fail to acknowledge the realities of our toxic behaviors, and everybody else around us can see it. Everybody can see it. But we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to deal with it. Ruby just said we've gotten comfortable in our mess, comfortable in the valley. You know, I'm reminded of the man with that had was at the pool of Bethesda, Ruby, and the Bible said that he was there for 38 years. 38 years waiting for somebody else to put him in the pool after the angels came down and stirred the pool up. And what God showed me, and when I was in my preparation for one of the sermons that I preached, he showed me, he said that man was at the right place at the right time with the wrong mentality for 38 years. Watch this. He was at the right place at the right time with the wrong mentality for 38 years. And when he encountered Jesus, Jesus didn't tell him, hey, man, you go and get in that pool. What he told him is take up your bed and walk. And that bed is symbolic to the comfort, being comfortable, or identifying in our infirmaries, identifying in our insecurities, becoming comfortable in our dysfunction. That we will be in the right place at the right time with the wrong mentality. And that's why it takes years for us to be made whole. My boy Flo, he said, you are the first person to lie to you. That is so true. That is so true. We lie to ourselves more than anybody. And what the biggest thing we do with that, Flo, and the biggest thing we do when we lie to ourselves, we try to justify it by blaming others or blaming others for why we are that way. We lie to ourselves. We know we're wrong, but we say, well, the only reason why I did that is because you did this. No, you wrong. It doesn't matter about what you can blame somebody else. You know you was wrong because you know the motives in your hearts ain't right. You know things in your heart ain't right, and then you wondering why you ain't. And this is what a lot of people miss it, especially those who claim to be church folks or those who claim to be believers. Right? This is what we miss it at. We feel like because the provisions of God is provided to us, we feel as if that because things are being provided for us, that God is blessing us. But we are not living nowhere near the potential of our abundant life because of our dysfunction and because of our hard-headedness. Because of our dysfunction and our hard-headedness, we operate at a level that is not even nowhere near to what God has for us. But we are hindering our blessings because we lie to ourselves and then we blame everybody else for not doing it. A classic example, and I used this before, but a classic example of this is when God gave Adam the instructions in the Garden of Eden. He gave it to him, Adam and Eve, to not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. What happened was Eve ended up Eve ended up feeding Adam and Eve ended up eating from the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. And when God came back and called Adam ended up telling God, like, hey, you know, God asked him, why you here? And he was like, well, because I was naked. And God was like, how you know you naked? And he was like, well, the woman you gave me. And that stood out to me because even though he got the instructions, when it came to him being held accountable, he blamed somebody else for his decision. But when he got the instruction himself, Flo said this. He said that mirror can be a real pain. That mirror can be real painful. So most avoid looking at themselves. I have too. I don't think nobody is exempt from that, Flo. I don't think nobody is exempt from avoiding the acknowledgement of the reality of what we see looking back at us when we look in that mirror. But what is really what we learn in 20, like looking back on it, is how much time and energy we waste trying to avoid it. If we only put a fraction of that energy into dealing with it, we'll find out that we really wasted a lot of time and resources by avoiding it than if we had just dealt with it in the first place. And that's something that is as I look at it, I looked at it for things in my life, like I wasted years on stuff by trying to avoid it that really took about 15 minutes for me to get the courage up and fix. Avoided it for years. It took 15 minutes to fix, but I avoided for years because I was afraid of dealing with the perceived consequences of it. And it brings me up, and what this makes me think about is, you know, me as a father. One of the things that I look forward to as a father is, you know, one of my pet peeves, I would say, as a father is not even a father, but just as a person. I've even used this as a command, as a commander, is, you know, own up to what you did. Own up to what you did. Because when you own up to what you did, what that shows me is the maturity in you acknowledging that you did wrong and you accepting responsibility for what the wrong that you did. That's the lesson in it. My kids, they have done things, and a lot of times I'm just looking to see if they learn that lesson. Now, if you go in and you try to blame somebody else, well, why did you do this? Well, they made me. No, they didn't make you do it. You made the decision to do it. And you did it with them, but they didn't make you do it. And when you own up to it, and I think God has the same mentality with us, is when we own up to what we do. As a father, and I'm looking at and put my father hat on, it's like they learned their lessons. Now, there's still consequences, but it may not be as severe as it was before. But, you know, looking at yourself, dealing with yourself, a lot of us really need to do that. And this is just something that's straight up, straightforward conversation. But there's no sugarcoating, ain't no feel good, ain't no homina, no gimmick. A lot of us really have to look at ourselves in the mirror, be honest with ourselves for our toxic and just nasty behavior, and actually do something about it to make it better. Do something about it to make it better. You know, we can't just continue to keep operating in dysfunction and expect to receive functional things out of it. It's just not going to happen. And I feel that too many of us live our lives blaming other people for stuff that's our responsibility. It's your responsibility. It is your responsibility to deal with yourself. Don't stop worrying about what other people think and deal with you. I promise you, it is so freeing to live a life that you aren't living trying to impress other people, to live a life not caring about what other people think when you do things that you know that are right for you in your life. It is so freeing. It is so freeing. It is so liberating when you can learn to get over worrying about other people. And I'm talking about family and friends. But when you're making the right decision for you and your family or your life, and you're doing those things, now you're freeing yourself up from the pressures of meeting other people's expectations. And the question is, are you really willing to do that? Are you really willing to overcome that pressure and let that pressure down? Are you willing to face those challenges of dealing with the reality of you, of looking yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, man, oh, dang, what I need to do? I need to do that. I need to fix that. I need to fix that. I need to fix it instead of putting a filter on it. See, the problem that we have right now, and I like to use this analogy, this analogy just popped up to me, but the problem we have right now with filters is only, it gives the perception, but not the reality. The reality is still the same. The filter, it just either hides or cover up a blemish. But like when you go into Photoshop, you can hide and you can cover up a blemish. But the reality is that's who you are. And I would rather deal with the reality of me than deal with an image of me, because the reality of you is where the substance lies. The image with you is all based off of what you want other projection or what you want others to see. Because the enemy is that not the enemy, but the image of you is not going to really be wholesome. It's just going to deal with a piece of you, not the fullness of you, not the depth of you. And you have to deal with the depth of yourself. So I just wanted to talk. Come on. I didn't want to be on long tonight. But talk about the pressures and challenges of dealing with the reality of you. And you have to deal with yourself. It's time that we deal with ourselves. It's time that not only that we acknowledge our behavior, but we put forth a plan and become more disciplined about the things that we need to do. You control yourself. If you know you need to work out more, you control yourself. You make those decisions. If you know you need to put more effort into your studies, you control yourself. You make decisions. When you know that you need to change certain behaviors, you control yourself. You control yourself. Stop giving other people power over you and then blaming other people for you not doing that when you gave them that power. Ms. Geraldine Pastor said, look at the woman in the mirror and be set free to be the better person, to be a better person at your goals in life, including loving you. You know, one of the hardest things, Ms. Pastor, and I want to say this, is when you truly love yourself, you get the courage to deal with yourself. Think about that. When you truly learn to love yourself, that's when you get the courage to deal with yourself. To deal with yourself in the reality of who you are. And when you deal with yourself in the reality of who you are, what tends to happen is this. That's when you can start breaking down the why you are the way that you are. That's when you can start breaking down what's the motivating factors behind your decision. That's when you can start breaking down what are those subconscious things or what those psychological triggers that you have that are triggering you to act a certain way or to trigger certain responses, and you can begin to take control of that. And other people won't have that power over you like they did in the past, because now you're learning to love yourself. You're learning to find out who you are. You're learning to be able to deal with the reality of you. Deal with the reality of you. Ruby said exactly. She said, deal with self first. Stop lying to self, and then change will start to happen. Now, I would say this too. Change comes when behavior change. I can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Change comes when behavior change. I won't be better. I won't be able to have money in the bank if I don't stop spending. Yeah. I can't just keep spending the same way and expect money just to get in the bank. And it doesn't matter if I make more money, I have to change my behavior. I can't expect to have a good relationship with my kids just because I say I want to have a good relationship with my kids. I have to change my behavior, change my actions, change my prioritization of where I place them, change my efforts and me reaching out to them, meeting them where they at, or having a conversation, picking up the phone, calling somebody. I have to make those changes. One thing that I realized too, we can get so caught up in life and we can use all these other things, but I was like, man, my father died in 2013, and my mother, I'm blessed to have my mother here with me. And one thing that made me think about it was like, dang, I talk to my folks, but do I really make them a priority to call and talk to them? Do I make it a priority to call and talk to my family? Do I make it a priority, or do I just say, oh man, I got to work? And I can keep, I'm working, I'm just working, I'm trying to, take care of my family. I can say all of these things, but I had to come to a realization that I needed to change that. So what I did was I made it more of a priority to start dealing with, to start making those changes and picking up the phone, to start calling my mom on Messenger and looking at her face and just spending time talking with her. Because guess what? Those are precious moments. And a lot of us, we just got to do. Change will come when we reprioritize. And a lot of us have to reprioritize. We have to. We just can't keep operating the same way that we operate. And this is, some of y'all been terrible spouses because your spouse hadn't been a priority for you. Everything else is a priority over your spouse. Everything else is a priority over your spouse. And a lot of us been trying to use and that's why I'm so grateful for 2020, because, a lot of us, and this, I'm speaking to those who go to church like Sunday, not every Sunday. Speaking to those people, a lot of y'all use church as an excuse because you didn't want to face the reality that you really didn't like your spouse, or you really didn't want to be or do the things that your spouse needed from you. And you try to hide behind that and use that as an excuse. But that was really you avoiding the pressure or the challenge of dealing with the reality of you. Miss Valeda Page Banks, she said, I have to change from the inside and believe that the real me needed to change for the better. That is a true statement. And one of the things is, Miss Page, I would say this, the real you, a lot of us know the real us. We just lie to ourselves so much that we begin to identify by what we want us to be instead of who we really are. And I'm not talking about I'm not speaking against speaking things into existence, like in the sense that I will be this. And I'm not telling you like you won't be that, but I can't say that I will be if I never deal with who I am now. And I got to deal with who I am today. I ain't talking about no title. I ain't talking about no perception of this, that, and the third. Could care less about titles. I honestly could care less. I'm talking about dealing with the reality of you. The reality of you. The reality of you is some of us just aren't good parents, because the reality of you is some of us just aren't good parents because we selfish. And the reason why we selfish is we had kids when we young, and now we older. We feel like that, well, we done did our time. Those kids didn't have to be here. That's a reality you got to deal with. You got to deal with that. You made that decision. Some of us had to deal with the reality of that we just some nasty people and we love to be messy. And the reason why we love to be messy is we're miserable and we want other people to be miserable with us. That's a reality that we got to deal with, the reality of you. Some of us have to deal with things of, hey, I've been hurt. I've been claiming to be hurt or things going on with me my whole adult life. And I'm 45 years old now, and I'm still blaming other people for stuff that happened to me when I was 18. Like you got to deal with yourself, because you've been outside of that home longer than you was in the home. So why you still? And I'm not saying that what may or may not have happened to you is not important. What I'm saying is it's time to deal with that, because guess what? You're just using that as an excuse not to deal with you. You know, without being made whole, will you be made whole? It's time to heal. It's time to grow. It's time to forgive. It's time to move on and be a better version of the people that we are dealing with. But like Miss Page said, we got to change from the inside out. And it's fearful. It is okay. It's okay to be fearful. It's not okay to stay the same. It's okay to be fearful. It is not okay to stay the same. It's not. It is not, because the people around you are depending on you to be better. Do you want to be old, bitter, and broken? All because you chose not to deal with you? You chose not to grow? You chose not to heal? Huh? You know, that's something that we have to sit down and say, you know I need to do better. I know I need to do better. Listen, when you deal with the reality of you, that give you, that right there helps you find a sense of self. And when you find a sense of self, then that helps you be able to love yourself. And when you be able to love yourself, that gives you the courage to stand up and stand up for yourself. And when you find the courage to stand up for yourself, that gives you the gall to be able to protect yourself and not make yourself vulnerable to becoming manipulated by others who prey on you being wounded. You know the saying, hurting people hurt people, right? And I truly believe that the enemy wants us to be walking around not dealing with the reality of us, because he wants us to be hurt and wounded so that we can be exploited by him through other people. Because it always seems that the other things that we go to will be something that is going to, in a sense, give us what we're looking for. But in actuality, it really takes us to a deeper place. And I'm talking about these things from a psychological standpoint, because there's a lot of you. Somebody may be watching this right now that you find yourself in bad relationships over and over and over again, and you're wondering why you find yourself in these bad relationships over and over and over again. And a lot of that is because you have not taken the time to deal with the reality of you. You have not taken the time to deal with the reality of why are you the way that you are. You have not taken the time to deal with the reality or to analyze, why am I making myself, why am I susceptible to these types of relationships, these types of people, or this type of behavior? Why am I? That's something that we have to look at. And when we look at it and we digest it and when we get the courage to deal with it, what we'll find ourselves is, hey, the reason why I'm susceptible to this is because I deal with rejection. I was rejected because my dad wasn't there, or I wanted my dad to be there in my life. And because he wasn't there, I feel as if I felt rejected by him. So I'm drawn to somebody that seems to be strong, but when I get there, I had to deal with rejection over and over again. So guess what that do? That push you further and further and further down the hole. And now we're living up under so much pressure to try to give a perception to everybody else that I'm good, but in actuality, I'm dying on the inside. And it's time for us to overcome those things and start finding who we are. Finding out who you are, forgiving yourself, getting to a place to where you get to know you get the chance to spend time with yourself. You're getting to realize, like, dang, this is who I am, but this is why I do certain things. Oh, this is what triggers me. This is why I don't like this. This is that, this, and this. And you'll be able to lay those things out, and you'll be able to come to a point to where you can say, hey, you know what? I'm not accepting that, because guess what? I deserve better. Miss Paige Banks, she said, I used to change to be with others because I thought I need them to be happy. She said, I used to change to be with others because I thought I need them to be happy. But when I started being me, I felt so much better. With God's help, I realized that I don't need others' approval to be happy. And that's Miss Paige Banks. What she's saying is she's identifying what I talked about, going through that process of coming to who you are. See, a lot of us are mad because we have changed a lot of things about us to be with somebody else, and we blame them for it. But it's not their fault. You chose to change. They never asked you to change. You just felt that that's why you needed to be to keep them. And I'm glad that she brought that up, because we have to deal with that. Like, we really have to deal with that. We really have to have those conversations, because we don't have those conversations. There's so many people go into relationships. We leave home and we don't never have these type of conversations that, hey, I changed because I was trying to be with somebody because I thought that's what made me happy. I thought being what I thought that they wanted would make me happy, even though it was me changing a little bit of who I was, because I don't even know what happy is. I just think happiness to me is I'm in that relationship. So I do whatever I can, even though it compromises and it goes against me being who I am. And it's a dangerous place to be there, because if you really look at that at the center of it, you're compromising who you are because you don't know who you are. And you don't know who you are because you never took the time to deal with the reality of you. Why? What's your why? Dealing with the reality of what is your why, identifying what is your why. And we all have different explanations. We all have had different experiences. But I wanted to have this conversation because I really feel that it's a monumental thing to get to the point of finding you. Why is it so true? I have not found a lot of conversation, a lot of content online that's dealing with this. And I think that this is something that impacts a lot of us, and we suffer in silence because we don't have anybody that we feel that we can relate to. But I promise you that there's a lot of people that can relate to you. And if you feel like that right now, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that can relate to how you feel. And there's nothing wrong with how you feel, because guess what? You're not the only one that's ever been there. You're not the only one that's at that place right now. But the most freeing thing that ever happened to me was really me getting to finding out why I was the way I was. And I had that conversation with God and the Holy Spirit, and God revealed some things to me. And this happened to me when I was 21 years old. It was 20 years ago. This happened 20 years ago. But guess what? I'm still learning myself today. Recently, over the last few weeks, God has really been dealing with me about me. And that is something that I will tell you is not just a one-time thing, but it's a lifelong thing. And like my mom, she just said, getting to know you is the hardest job. Getting to know you is the hardest job. And that's one of the hardest things that I ever had to do, is really deal with the reality of me. You know, I realized, and she said, but it is the most rewarding. It is the most rewarding. Miss Angela Bridges says, so true. She was saying so true when I was speaking earlier. But I just wanted to get with that, say, you know, getting over the hardest part, the hardest job is dealing with you, or learning about you, or getting to know you. But it's the most rewarding. And that's what the enemy wants to keep us to the place where we don't know ourselves, when we get lost to ourselves, or we get lost in our jobs, we get lost in our marriages, we get lost in our relationships, we get lost in our organizations that we're a part. We get lost in all of this stuff because he don't want us to get to know who we are, because there's power in knowing who you are. There's power in knowing who you are. And when you know who you are, you know where to the power about knowing who you are is, you know where to start, where to backtrack everything, and where to start, and where the source come from. I realized this, that when 20 years ago, when God revealed to me that I had my issue, why I was the way I was, my issue was rooted in me dealing with rejection, the rejection from my father, because I didn't get I didn't get his love in the way that I desired it. Even though I didn't go without it, I just didn't get it packaged the way I desired it. So I associated that with rejection. By me knowing that now, it's able to help me deal with certain things that will trigger me. Certain things that will trigger me. And now I'm able to identify those things, and I'm able to manage those things better, where before I couldn't. Before I was blinded to them. I just thought that I was just doing certain things, and I was able to be manipulated like a puppet because I didn't recognize it. But by me and being able to recognize it, now I'm able to say, okay, now I'm being triggered because of this. Even though God healed me in the sense of bringing me to the knowledge of that, I still have to work on that. I still have to work on that. I still have to put that work in. I still got to put that work in every day. It's every day. It's not like a one-time thing. I still got to deal with that. And that's why it was so liberating and so rewarding. My mother also said, she said, who you are is not only powerful, but as you said earlier, is liberating. Listen, I want some people to really know this. A lot of us, when we read throughout the Bible, there's a lot of emphasis in the Bible where names were changed. And then those names were changed was symbolic of a transformation from the old person into the new. Abraham was Abram. Abram ended up being changed Abraham. Sarai was changed to Sarah. Jacob was changed to Israel. His name was changed. Saul's name was changed to Paul. And each time we had a name change that was significant into a change in character. And I think a lot of us has to go through our own spiritual name change to come to the reality of who we are. And a lot of us are going by our old names. We're living up to the reputation of our old names, while yet on the inside, the new name is screaming to come out. But we are so fearful to deal with that because we're fearful of the unknown. We're fearful of the unknown of the new person. And it's time for us to transition to the new person, and getting to know that new person is a great thing. It's a great thing. And there's really nothing to fear. It's all liberating. My mother said, when you learn you become a new you. And that's why I was talking about with the name significance of the name change. So I just want to encourage everybody tonight, and anybody who may be watching this even later. I encourage you to take some time to deal with you. Like, get a list out and write down the things that you know that you need to improve on. Don't blame nobody else. Don't put this on nobody else. Put it on you. Identify those things you need to deal with and put forth that work and come up with a plan to actually deal with it. Not just, oh, I know it is. No, deal with it. Miss Angelica Bridges said this. She said, right, because the enemy knows that there is no true forward advancement without knowing ourselves. You end up going in circles and cycles rather than moving towards our true destiny. Miss Valeda Page Banks, she said, it's great to know the new you. It's a great feeling. And Miss Angelica Bridge said, this is good. She said, I needed to hear this. Listen, God has been dealing with me about getting back to know who is Robert Lovejoy Shepherd. Who is Robert Lovejoy Shepherd? We can carry so many different titles. We can carry so many different positions. We can accomplish all of these things in life, but who are you? Who are you? I got different. Listen, I'm called by different things. I'm called Dad, called Shep, called Captain, called an officer in the Army, called minister, called pastor, called brother, called uncle, called son, called a nephew, cousin, call all these different titles. But who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And that's a question that we got to ask ourselves. And we got to get to the point to where we can get to the point to where we acknowledge ourselves. Ms. Geraldine Pastor said, thank you. And Miss Angelica, she said, yes, Come on, Mr. Lovejoy. She said, I love it. That alone speaks to who you truly are. Listen, I have embraced that middle name as a young child. Shout out to Reverend Lovejoy Ray, my godfather. I've always, it's funny because when I tell people that, people don't, they be like, oh man, no, I don't believe that. And I had to show them like on my ID and they're like, oh dang. But I always say this, my mother knew that I was going to give love and joy to everybody that I met. So that's why I got that name. But that part of me too, that I was able to embrace that and truly be free in being myself. One thing that I do love is over the last few weeks is it's been refreshing to spend time with myself. Spend time with myself, thinking about myself, spend time with myself, challenging myself to be better on the and to be better in the things that I know that I needed to improve on. Because I've known those for years, but what am I going to do? Am I still going to be indisciplined about those things? Am I still going to make excuses and ignore those things? Or am I going to just change my behavior and put forth the right time, effort, and energy to working towards the results that I know that I can achieve? And I can tell you it has been very refreshing for me to change those behaviors, to challenge myself, to make myself accountable to somebody, and to see myself working towards it. And every day ain't a fun day. Some days, you know, I don't feel like it, but I get up and I force myself to do those things. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it. And I just pray that for those that may be trying to figure out how you're going to do your thing, listen, just take one day at a time. One day at a time. One day at a time. This thing is not going to change overnight, but you can change. The results may not come overnight, but your change can happen immediately. Because your change is all rooted in you making the decision. You can make the decision right now that I'm going to change. And you see all these videos on social media, see the videos on YouTube, or people that I was like to use overweight, that was overweight, and they've been overweight for years, and they got down to one moment where they made a decision that they was going to stay committed to it, and they stayed committed to it. And a year later, they lost 150 pounds, 200 pounds, all these things. And there were certain days where they didn't feel like getting through it, but they had people that support them and encourage them, and they got up and they worked out when they didn't feel like it. They got up and did things they didn't feel like. They changed their behavior. They changed their eating habits. They changed the things that they ate. They made the necessary changes and put in the work to manifest the results where they were looking for. And over a period of time, they was able to see and get those small victories. And I challenge you guys that if you decide to make the change right now, that you celebrate those small victories along the way. And as you celebrate those small victories along the way, you'll begin to see that one step, that first step you took, after a while you look back, you'll be like, wow, instead of just one step, I done walked 10 miles. Wow. Instead of 10 miles, I done walked 100. Wow. Next thing you know, you done walked 10,000 miles. Miss Angelica Bridge said, oh, that's good. The results may not come overnight, but I can really change immediately. That is true. And you celebrate every win. Celebrate those small wins. Celebrate them, because guess what? They are victory, and we all got the victory. But the real victory is in the process. And if we serve the God that I know, God is a God about process. He's a God that about he's methodological. He has a method to his madness. It's steps to it, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So take that with you. I pray that you all been blessed. I pray that you all be encouraged. I encourage you to be able to overcome the pressures and challenge of dealing with the reality of you. First of all, face yourself, deal with yourself, lay them things out, look in the mirror, say, man, I got some bumps right here. I got this. Oh man, I got this going on. I got this. Okay, boom. That's where it's at. All right, boom. Now, what else? What I need to go? Where else I need to go? Okay, because I got this, what I need to change? Okay, do I need to change my soap? Do I need to change this? Do I need, I can go on YouTube, I can go on Google, let me Google research this area, or this, or if it's finances, okay, if I need to, who do I know that's good with money? Let me reach out to them and see what, can I get some pointers? Let me go ahead and buy that Dave Ramsey book. Let me watch Dave Ramsey podcast. Let me find certain these steps. You see what I'm saying? All of these things. What do I need to go to get to where I need to get to? Put that time and effort in, and you will begin to see the changes coming, because you would recognize that those areas where you were deficient on, and now you put forth the effort to become better. And I promise you, it may not be, your credit score may not go from 500 to 700 in a week. No, but I can guarantee you, if you stay committed and you find out those things that you need to work on, you will find out that over a period of time, you're in a better situation than you was before. And the reason why you was in a better situation, because you identify those areas you need to improve on, and you put forth the time and energy, you faced them, and you made the necessary changes. So Miss Angelica Bridge said, yes, thank you again. This was much needed. Miss Valeda Page Banks, she said, when I get through trying to help me, the day is over, but I feel good. And I tell you, that is the victory. That is victory. My mom said, would it go from 300 to 500? It will go from 300 to 500, but it won't happen overnight. There's some things that need to change to get it that way. And watch this though. And one thing that I love about God, and we're going to end on this. One thing that I love about God with all of this is the fact that he's more concerned with you changing the behavior before you get the results. Because he can do it just like this, but if he do it just like this and the mentality hasn't changed, then it's a wasted blessing. God is concerned about the long haul, and he's concerned about your ability to maintain or sustain the blessing instead of you receiving the blessing. So you have to prepare yourself to receive. You have to prepare yourself to receive. And we look at all these things, when you got to prepare yourself to receive. I can't expect increase if I don't make room. I like that. I'm going to say that again. I can't expect increase if I don't make room to receive. And sometimes that making room is I got to throw a lot of stuff away because I got so much stuff cluttered. A lot of us got a lot of clutter in our life that we need to clean up and throw away. We got a lot of clutter in our lives we need to clean up and throw away. And it's time for us to clean it up and throw it away. I'm telling you, it's time for us to clean up and throw away, because of all that clutter that you have in your life, you can't receive the blessing that God is waiting to give to you. A lot of us got way too much than what we need in areas in our lives, and we need to give that stuff away. And I'm using this analogy. You use the analogy like clothes, but some of us, we got way too much stuff that we're not even using, but we holding on to. God said you carrying dead weight. And it's hard for us it's hard for us to deal with us when we're not willing to let go of all the dead weight that we got around us. We got to stop hoarding. It's time to let that stuff go. We got to let that stuff go. We got to let our past go. We got to let the pains of our past go. We got to let all this stuff go so that we can be able to receive, because God wants us to make room. But watch this. He ain't going to move it. He's just waiting to bless you. You got to move it. And I would just tell you, make room to receive. 2021 is the year of restoration, the year of revival, the year of renewal, and reveal, revive, renew, and in the year of revelation. So reveal, God will reveal, he will revive, he will restore, he will renew. But it is up to us to make room to receive. I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I'm gonna go get a few more comments. Miss Angelica, she said, yes, sir. The mindset change is what will create the lasting victory. My mama said, yes. She said, yes, he does. He knows the plan, for he is the master planner. She said, I must make room in order to receive more. And my mother said, Tony Evans say the only way to remove the air from the glass is to pour God into it. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm. And Miss Angelica said, ooh, we just hoarding. Got to let it go. We got to let it go. Again, like I said, 2021 is a year that God will reveal, revive, restore, and renew. But we got to make room to receive. And I say that again, 2020, God will reveal, revive, restore, and renew. But we got to make room to receive. So you guys have a great and blessed day. And thank you guys for tuning in. I really, I really appreciate the enduring support. Miss Geraldine Pass said, but you know, hey, got to eliminate our excuses. She said, but no, just do it. It's time to do it. It's time to put in the work. Get over it. Get over that fear, and those things will come to pass. I pray blessings upon all of you guys, and thank you guys so much for tuning in.